is Megan Gold. I'm a LuLaRoe retailer from Panama City, Florida. It's my hometown. Last year we were hit by a hurricane. As you can see behind me, there's still a lot of devastation and many things left to be rebuilt. But I do want to share my story with LuLaRoe because it has helped me in ways that I could not imagine. 2.5 years ago when I started this business, I had no idea that LuLaRoe could be there for me during a natural disaster. From the friendships I had made with retailers to the customers in my group, and I want to share this story with you. Before I can tell you about how LuLaRoe helped during a natural disaster, I have to back up and I have to give you some background knowledge, otherwise it won't make any sense. So I used to teach for 8 years, and my dream job was to stay at home with the kids, and we finally were able to make it happen. And I stayed home for a year and it was great, but I felt like I was missing something and I didn't know what it was. Well, during that time, I was invited to go to a LuLaRoe pop-up by my sister-in-law. At the time, I was gigantically pregnant, and I thought, mercy girl, I cannot buy any clothes unless they are in the maternity section. Thanks for the invite, but I'm not driving 2.5 hours to see what all this is about. And I declined a different one too with a few months later because, again, I was hugely pregnant. Had no idea that you could wear LuLaRoe as like perfect pregnancy clothes. I got an invite after I had the baby a few weeks later, and I really didn't want to go. I didn't. I thought I'm at that awkward stage where people are like, oh, when are you oh, you already had your baby, I can't tell if your baby's not on you. So I went for the hostess. I knew she was going to earn hostess rewards. She was trying to earn clothes. She was getting ready to go on a mission, and she wanted some new clothes that she could wear on her mission. And I thought, I gotta go. So I go, I try on the clothes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these fit everybody. It's amazing. And so I purchased a few items, and a week later, it was my birthday, and I had birthday money. And I got on the LuLaRoe website, found other people so I could see new inventory, and shopped with them. And then a few days after that, I thought, I gotta do this. And my husband said, go for it, go for it. So this was July of 2016. I came across a Facebook group that was July 2016 retailers or ladies who had entered the queue in July of 2016. So we were super stoked. We were like, oh my gosh, we're gonna start this thing. It's gonna be amazing. And we were sharing ideas back and forth. It was a great support system. Even though my sponsor was local, this group was a godsend. We just bonded. We shared what we might do, and then as it got closer to time to get our calls, back then it was 8 to 10 weeks. What's your date? What date did you sign up in? I signed up July 12th. I haven't got my call yet. And we would just message and say, hey, if you got your call, are you ready? And we were so excited for each other. And that was such a blessing. I refer to these ladies as my July girls because they are. Even the first time that we went to convention, the girls who did, we all had lanyards, and poor Amazon thought, I'm sure they thought, what in the world, why is there a spike in J sales? Because we all bought pins that said J to go on our lanyards, so that if we were in line, we could be like, oh my gosh, you're in July, and finally meet these people who we had talked to for so long. Anyway, those girls were absolutely amazing. For my business, I decided to focus in person and do in-home pop-ups and events, and I loved it. I absolutely love it. I love meeting new people. I love the in-person interaction, and I love an event when people come in and they're like, I don't know what this is, and I'm like, girl, let me tell you, and get them going. So I did go mobile, and that's where we're at right now, and I love it. Now we're gonna fast forward a little bit to last year. Last year, in October, on the 10th of 2018, Hurricane Michael came out of nowhere. I'm from Florida, and I know all about hurricanes, and I know how they develop, when to be scared, when not to be scared. This one was a doozy. Saturday night, we're like, oh, there's something kind of brewing up, and then all of a sudden, by Tuesday, it was this gigantic storm. And then overnight, it became a 4, almost category 5. And we stayed behind because at the time it's supposed to be a 2. 2s we have ridden out before, and we're like, we're all right. We're going to go to my grandma's. We'll move the Lula trailer because I don't want to lose that. I'll put it under a sturdy pole barn. Great idea. And so we nestled in at my grandparents for the night, only to wake up and realize that that was not the case at all. We were there with my mom and my grandparents, and we lost phone service about 10 o'clock, and the storm didn't leave till I think like 4 or 5, like it was later in the evening. And we had no service. My husband's not from here. His parents aren't here. They didn't know if we were alive, if we were okay, how we had fared, and we had no phone service. So as the hurricane stopped and moved on, we went outside and realized how absolutely horrible it was. There was nowhere for us to be able to drive. We couldn't drive to our house, which is 10 minutes away. We couldn't do anything. So the next day, we got up and we tried. We're like, you know what, we're just going to try. We're going to try to, we'll just move, we'll cut limbs and go and try to, we just got to see if our house is still there. And we weren't able to drive. We had to park the car because we couldn't get down the street at all. And so we put on our backpacks and we walked. The 10-minute drive, we couldn't even figure out what street was ours to turn down. There were no street signs. It didn't look anything like what it had looked like the 13 years we had lived on that street. And it took longer. We had to go a different way because we couldn't get down. All the trees were just on top of each other. And we finally made it to our house, and it was still standing. And we had brought some food storage, some 72-hour kits, some water to my grandparents, but not enough. Not enough. At this point, we had heard a cop tell us that it was going to take 2 months before power was restored. We had taken money out of the ATM. That's what you're supposed to do. Power will be down for a few days. Make sure you've got some cash if you need it. We did that. Not enough for 2 months. So we got what we could from our house, and what ended up seeing a friend, because I had brought a little buggy. My mom lives in a condo, and she has like this little buggy that you can put items in so that she doesn't have to make as many trips. I brought that with us, and then we saw a friend, and we're like, oh, he totally gave us a ride. He was able to get through, and we got back, and still no service on our phone. No service. We realized that night that my grandma had a different phone company, and it sometimes would work. And we were able to get out a message that, hey, we're alive, our house is there, we're okay, we're going to be okay. Just a quick little message, and we're like, please put this on Facebook, tag all of us so that all our friends can know. We came back after some of the main streets, and we live off of Main Street, were cleared enough where you could drive. We came back to the house a couple days later, and there was water sitting on our porch. There were 2 big containers of water, and I didn't know who they were from. I was just so grateful. There was no Target, there was no Walmart, nothing was open. And while we thought we were prepared, we weren't prepared enough. And so we picked up the water, and we asked at church, hey, did somebody drop off water at our house? Like, that's not where we're staying, but thank you so much, we needed it. There's 6 of us in our family, plus my grandparents are there, plus my mom and dad are there. And we were super grateful for this water. I later found out that it was one of those July girls, one of those girls that I joined the queue with in July of 2016. That's the only way we know each other from that. She lives about an hour away on a normal drive, and I'm sure it took her a good 2.5 hours to get to us to drop off water. I was so very grateful for that tender mercy, and all because we had met through LuLaRoe. If we had not met through LuLaRoe, through that July Girl group, we wouldn't have had that water. Another little tender mercy was, again, we didn't have phone service. We were running off generators. We were told 2 months. 2 months. We didn't have enough ethanol-free gas for that, so we would load up, and our normal highway it's a 4-lane highway. It was down to just 1 lane going one way, one going the other way, because it was not cleared yet. There were transformers down everywhere. So we loaded up, And we took the 1 hour journey, which really was like 3 hours because everybody and their mom was going out trying to do the same thing that we were. We went to go get gas and for the generator so that we could have some power. And as we made our way out there, it was we giggled because all of a sudden we saw all these cars just like they're on this highway, they're just pulled over, and all of a sudden my phone goes ding 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 ding. That's when we were able to, this one spot service came in, so everybody just pulled over so that they could talk to their loved ones. I finally got service on my phone, and I had a ton of messages from friends, from family, and from those July girls. One message said, "Megan, when you get this, check your PayPal account." Now, the only reason she had my PayPal account, this July girl, was because we had done some wholesale transfers back before you could do it in Bless, and so she knew what my PayPal was. When I logged in to that PayPal account, it showed the activity, and it showed $5 donation, $10 donation, $15, $50, all the way up to $500 that those girls had, who had never, maybe never met me. We might have met at convention to take a picture, or they might not have gone to convention. They had donated money because they knew that we needed it. They knew that my husband was without a job. I couldn't sell LuLaRoe. I didn't even know if my mobile was okay. We couldn't get to an ATM. Banks were not open. And we still had to pay bills. And those girls, without even thinking, they saw that need and they said, "Hey, our July sister is in need. Here's her PayPal link if you would like to donate." And I will forever be grateful for that. Not only was LuLaRoe able to bless me during this time, but I was able to help through LuLaRoe other people. Like I said at the beginning, that I built my business very locally, and I knew that this was going to be a super big issue after the storm. When I was out at that place that did have it, I texted my mentor. I was like, "Look, I don't even know what to do. I don't know if this is even something I can do anymore. I don't know. I can't ask people to buy clothes when they don't have a house." And so I took a break. I took a break for a month. Normally my Saturdays were events going to cities 30 minutes away or in-home pop-ups, and they instead became, I changed out my LuLaRoe for yellow Helping Hands shirts. And Helping Hands is an organization that uses crisis cleanup to help others. We have volunteers come down, and if people needed work orders, they would put work orders in, and volunteers would come for the weekend, and they would camp out, and they would work sun up to sundown to help people just get to their houses. And my Saturdays, like I said, they used to be events, but it became that for 5 weeks. And during that time, the town over, that's about 20 minutes away, I would go there. Before this, I would go there, and I would I'd pop up over there once a month. And I love that town because Mexico Beach is amazing. It is locals, it is snowbirds, it's visitors, it's a different crowd every time. And some of these locals, we became really close by me going over there for a good year, once a month. And I checked on them whenever I could get service, whenever I would drive out and could get service, and checked on them, and found out that they needed help clearing some of their land too, their homes. And they got it worse actually than we did, because they dealt with storm surge, the water coming in from the Gulf, and we didn't really have storm surge. Ours was mainly wind damage. They had the wind damage plus the storm surge. So they, since I was able to be in charge and help with Helping Hands with my friends, I was able to contact those girls in my group and say, "Do you need volunteers? I have access where we have volunteers, and they're coming your way this weekend. Do you need help?" And I was able to help them. I was able to help send some volunteers their way to help start the process of clearing, to help them feel a little bit normal, be able to make it to their doors. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without LuLaRoe. Without those friendships and relationships that I had built, they wouldn't have been able to receive that help. I also have one of those July girls that dropped off the water. She said, "Hey, do you know anybody else?" And I did. I said, "Hey, we're slowly getting back. We're Home Depot opened. We're slowly getting back. They don't have anything opening right now. If you can get them supplies, here's their address." And sure enough, we asked them, "What do you need?" "We need vinegar for cleaning, and we really need some dish soap." And we loaded them up with so much stuff. And she took it with her friends that were volunteering, and they made their way to Mexico Beach to get them supplies. Again, all because of these relationships we had built through LuLaRoe. For Giving Tuesday, we did a buy one pair of leggings, give a pair event. And this year, we did that last year, but this year we kept it in the group. And I said, like, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I will tell you that if you buy a pair of leggings, we will gift a pair to somebody who has been displaced in our group, because we had so many people in our group that had been displaced. And just sending that pair of leggings with the happy Giving Tuesday, hope this brings a smile to your face note in there, just meant the world to so many people. They reached out and said, "Oh my gosh, I haven't even bought from you in a year and a half, and you knew that we were displaced, and thank you so much." And I said, "No, it's not me, it's the group. It's the group. They're the ones that bought." And that was back in November. Well, fast forward even last month, I did a giveaway in my group, and a lady wants some leggings, and she messaged me and said, "Hey, could I give up that pair to someone else in the group that has been displaced? And I'll also buy an Irma so they can have a whole outfit to feel a little bit better for themselves, a little bit normal, because I'm sure that they haven't been able to purchase anything." And I said, "Absolutely, absolutely." And I sent the message that that sweet girl in my group sent me, and shared it with the lady who had purchased the Irma and donated the leggings that she had won. I'm so very grateful. There were so many other stories that these relationships, even I had one that a customer 2.5 hours away, her husband was a retired electrical engineer, and we were at the point where we didn't have power. Backtrack in a minute, and they drove this way and put up our little weather, I don't remember what it's called, the thing that gets the power to the house. We couldn't find any electricians. They were all so overwhelmed and busy trying to do it for everybody else. They came over and did it. And I tried to pay them, would not take anything other than a thank you. Again, I didn't know them from Adam up until this LuLaRoe, up until this. Like, I would not have met them. I would not have known them. I would not have built that relationship with them. They knew something that I needed that I didn't even know. I didn't share in my group that, "Hey, we need an engineer, an electrical engineer. Anybody know anybody that can do that?" I didn't share that in the group. They just reached out and said, "Hey, we know you're going to need this. Can we come over and do it?" And they did. I'm so very grateful for LuLaRoe and for the relationships and friendships that are built, that from the retailers all the way down to the customers to home office. I'm so grateful for the relationships that are built in this company because of selling clothes. Things that you never would have thought. I never would have thought. I always heard, "Oh, you might be able to quit your job and stay home with LuLaRoe. You might be able to go pay for extravagant vacations with LuLaRoe, like it's extra spending money," and that is fantastic. But this is something that I never in a million years thought would have made a difference for my family in the way that it did. And I wanted to share that with you guys today.